everyone went off to carry out the king's instructions. However, Hekchamanayaka, thinking it would be better to send a personal messenger to Orugallu rather than just a letter, left a moment later than everyone else. Hekchamanayaka personally wrote the letter and gave it to a guard, instructing him to deliver it carefully to the ruler of Orugallu. The soldier mounted his horse and sped towards Orugallu with the letter. As he crossed the boundary walls of Hampi and travelled a certain distance, an arrow struck him from behind, penetrating into his abdomen. He fell off his horse and, while struggling for his life, was subdued by Chikka Veera Narasimha and his followers, who seized the letter from him and ensured he met a grim fate. Chikka Veera Narasimha read the letter and, with a harsh tone, said, "So you thought you could consolidate South India by joining forces with Orugallu? For your plan to succeed, this letter must reach Orugallu, but instead, I will make Ulugh Khan do the job for me." He then set the letter ablaze with a piece of flint and ordered his men to dispose of the soldier's body in the Tungabhadra river, where crocodiles roamed, before heading into the city. Hekchamanayaka was fully immersed in preparations to protect his kingdom. He enforced strict training for the soldiers and stationed one horseman every 10 yojanas to ensure that any news from the borders would reach Hampi within a day. Due to these precautions, the kingdom of Hoysala remained peaceful. However, learning that Orugallu's fort was surrounded by Ulugh Khan's forces caused Hekchamanayaka great distress. Due to his preoccupation with safeguarding his own realm, he was unable to assist Orugallu. A few days later, Hekchamanayaka went to the king and said, "King, although the fort of Orugallu was surrounded by troops, they were unable to capture it. Instead, they burned the surrounding villages and fields, captured and destroyed all women, and due to this chaos, Prataprudra surrendered to Ulugh Khan. He has now been taken to Delhi as a prisoner." An officer from Orugallu, involved in the conspiracy, helped facilitate this surrender, and now Prataprudra has converted to Islam and gained a prominent position in Ulugh Khan's army. Ulugh Khan has renamed Orugallu to Sultanpur and has established his base there. Our spies report that he is now planning an attack on our kingdom. Therefore, we must remain vigilant at all times, especially against traitors who count the inhabitants of our kingdom. "If you permit, I will prepare our army for battle," said Hekchamanayaka. The king, upon hearing this, said, "Do what you deem necessary for the protection of our kingdom from today. Do not delay any action waiting for my permission. I will always support you. Whatever you do, it is acceptable as long as our kingdom remains peaceful. Go, Hekcham, and know that you will always have my full support." Encouraged by the king's words, Hekchamanayaka set off for war with renewed zeal. After many days, when Hekchamanayaka returned home, his son Rudra Nayakudu, who was playing in front of the house, ran up and embraced his father. Hekchamanayaka lifted the boy and carried him inside. Swati, seeing her husband, said, "Your father must be very tired. Let me take him," and took the child from him. Despite being apart for so long, Hekchamanayaka was somewhat surprised to see Swati remaining calm. He asked her, "Have you not been angry with me for being away from you all this time?" Swati replied, "Why would I not be angry? I am quite upset. But, you said on our first night that you valued your duty to protect the kingdom more than family. So, I decided that I should not compete with your duty. While I would be very happy and peaceful if you were here with me, your absence allows everyone here to remain at peace. I do not like sacrificing the happiness of so many people for my own comfort. So, even though I am angry with you, I cannot show it. Upon hearing this, Hectormanaika drew her close, rested her head on his chest, and gently kissed her forehead, saying, "It is my fortune to have a wife who understands me like you do." She smiled and responded, "You are the one who changed my misfortune into a blessing. By the way, I forgot to mention. I must leave for battle this evening," he said. She replied, "All right, I will make the necessary arrangements for you," and went inside. For some reason, at that moment, Hectormanaika felt a great sense of calm. Perhaps the peace that comes from having a wife who understands her husband is truly like this. That evening, Hectormanaika set out for war, donned in armor, wielding his sword, and carrying his weapons. Swati performed the arti for him and prayed to the deity for his victorious return. Rudra Nayakudu, standing below, said, "Father, this time I will also come to the battlefield with you and fight the enemies fiercely." Hectormanaika and Swati both hugged him and told him, "First focus on your studies, then you can think about battle. Swati, take care of yourself and the boy," before sending his horse towards the royal palace. Swati, appearing somewhat courageous to her husband, felt a bit anxious inside. As soon as he left, she went to the prayer room and prayed to the deity to protect her husband. When Hectormanaika arrived at the royal palace, all the soldiers were ready to depart. Upon his arrival, the soldiers saluted him with their weapons. The king, having taken permission, set out with the army to intercept Ulugh Khan's forces approaching from Orugallu and confront them at the borders of the Hoysala kingdom. After a 2-day journey, they saw Ulugh Khan's vast army approaching from a distance. To gauge the size of the army, Hectormanaika and a few other commanders went to a nearby elevated spot. From there, they could see Ulugh Khan's entire army, which was larger than Hoysala's. Seeing this, Hectormanaika turned to the left and asked, "Khadhir, you were recently promoted to the position of city protector of Hampi, right? Is it necessary for you to participate in this battle for another promotion so soon?" Ignoring Hectormanaika's words, Khadhir continued to look sharply at the approaching enemy army. Hectormanaika then grabbed Khadhir and shook him a bit, asking, "What, are you afraid just seeing that army?" Khadhir, smiling, replied, "I did not come here for a promotion. I came to assist my dear friend. I am not afraid of seeing them. I am only calculating how many days it will take to kill all of them." "All right then, you're performing well in your role," said Hectormanaika, leading Khadhir and the other commanders down from their elevated position. After explaining to each commander how to attack the enemies and ensuring all soldiers were ready, Hectormanaika blew the conch and donned his helmet. Khadhir, who was nearby, asked, "Will you say anything to our soldiers?" Hectormanaika responded, "Khadhir, look at the soldiers behind you. They are all brave. If you are afraid, tell me, and I will say some words of encouragement." Seeing their leader playfully teasing them, Khadhir insisted, "You keep asking if I am scared. Are you not afraid? You must be brave, right?" Hectormanaika tried to stifle his smile and looked at Khadhir. Khadhir looked at the approaching enemy army. Seeing this, the surrounding commanders smiled and went to their respective units. They had never seen their leader so light-hearted before. They thought to themselves how enthusiastic their own soldiers must be, free from fear of battle, and went to their positions to prepare for the fight. Ulugh Khan's army reached the Hoysala army's vicinity. One of the soldiers was pleading in Urdu, "I want to leave this battle. I cannot stay here as long as he is present." Please let me go back, and I will leave. You coward! Will you run from the battle? The army commander was scolding him. Seeing this, Hekchamanayaka asked Khadir, I've seen that person begging somewhere before. Do you recognize who he is? Khadir replied, his name is Qasim. He was once a commander in Malik Kafir's army. It seems he has now joined Ulugh Khan's forces. A few years ago, he came with an army to attack our Hampi city. We killed all of his troops and spared him alone. If my guess is correct, he is now afraid of seeing you. Posted by Shri.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more awesome content. See you next time.